fit, although Ghosty seems to be trying to get him injured. And then with Konate, he's playing again inside 3 days. He'll have a much better game because he'll be alongside Van Dijk. It'll be good for his confidence. Let him play.
Yeah, I'm torn, to be honest. I think Matip could do a bit of damage against a bit of a chaotic Southampton midfield. But then at the same time, there is the Merseyside derby to think about next midweek, Theo. So talk us through your back four. Who are you going to go with?
Trent's at right back, Van Dijk's at centre back. I think we're all agreeing on that. I'm leaning, I think, towards Konate. He's got a bit more pace about him, and I'd feel a bit more comfortable with Matip in the derby at Goodison. But then Matip always seems to come off injured at Goodison, so maybe we're setting him up for a fall in one of these 2 games anyway. And then, it'll be Robertson at left back. It's been hard for him this season, but it's important to remember that part of that was coming back to pre-season late after the Euros, and then he got an injury on the eve of the season. He's almost been playing catch-up the whole time. He's not had a moment to catch his breath and find some form because they haven't really been able to train much because it has been these 2 games a week every week. Tsimikas has done brilliantly, and that's all you can ask from him, all you can expect from him. Jurgen Klopp's obviously saying, thank God we've got this option when Liverpool haven't had it in the past. But there is going to be a time when Robertson is back to his very best. And you'd like to think against Southampton at Anfield, it is a setting for him to maybe have not an easier afternoon, but fine form. It's going to be a game where he can have opportunities to get forward, and he needs to play his way into form somehow. And hopefully this is going to be the one.
Yep, absolutely. Let's move on to the midfield then, Ghosty. I'm going to go Fabinho, Henderson and Thiago, but I suppose at least one of those would come off after an hour in my scenario with Wednesday night in mind. But do you think there's an argument for Oxlade-Chamberlain to stay in? Is there anybody else that you'd put in there? I don't suppose there is. There's not really anybody else fit.
No, I don't think there is. I don't think... I think the only thing that would keep Oxlade-Chamberlain out is the fact that he's played a lot of football for someone who typically doesn't. But I also think that it's been too long that Liverpool fans haven't been able to see what many would suggest is their best midfield on paper. Thiago, Fabinho and Henderson. I think that they've only started 2 games together, possibly 3. Certainly nowhere near as many as you would have thought when Thiago signed. So, let's go with that as a 3. And then if needed, maybe Henderson or Thiago can have a little bit of a rest for Oxlade-Chamberlain. But, I'm going with you, Matt. Same midfield 3.
Yeah, Fabinho and Henderson seem almost certain to start, Doherty, given that they didn't start on Wednesday. But are you going to go with Thiago as well, or what's your thinking for this one?
Fabinho, Thiago, Oxlade-Chamberlain.
Interesting.
Because
saving Thiago for Wednesday.
Oh, Thiago's playing.
Sorry,
It's Henderson that's been then kept out. Yeah, I think Oxlade-Chamberlain obviously used to play for Southampton, so I think he'll be quite keen to play. So I think you have to sometimes bear that in mind. He'll be desperate to get a game in there. I think if it doesn't go particularly well, don't forget there's Milner. I know he's only just come back, but he booked himself a midweek off, saving himself a trip to Milan towards the end of the game. He knew exactly what he was doing there, didn't he? He's not soft. He must have been before then. He must have been just gone, I don't really like it that much, and just gone, can't be bothered. But yeah, I think we'll probably see Milner at some point. I wouldn't, I don't want to get too far, but I wouldn't be surprised if Milner played in the derby either. But, we'll deal with that next week. But for the moment, I'm going to go with Fabinho, Thiago, Oxlade-Chamberlain.
Theo, who are you going to go with?
I'm leaning with Doyley again. The Oxlade-Chamberlain ex-club factor for me swings it for him. He's in good form. We saw what he did against Arsenal, so he can face another former club and hopefully have the same impact. I think he's done well against them in the past, hasn't he? He scored, was it the title-winning year at Anfield in the 4-0. I'd keep Thiago in. I think it's a game that would suit him. And then it's whether I go Henderson or Fabinho as the number 6. Like I said, leaning towards Doyley's thinking, save Henderson for the derby. We've only seen glimpses of him since coming back from this injury and from international duty. So you don't want to risk him too much, especially when it's going to be a frantic, festive period coming up. So Fabinho can be number 6. Henderson can come on after 1 hour, and then you can start the derby and lead them to hopefully a rare Goodison victory. We've not had a few of them for a few years.
Yeah, good to have a few options in there. There's a couple of options in the front line as well, Ghosty, but I'm going to go Salah, Jota and Mane. I didn't think Minamino was particularly brilliant. He didn't do anything dreadful on Wednesday night, but probably an opportunity missed for him to stamp a bit of a mark.
Yeah, it really was, especially after coming on against Arsenal and scoring, and you could see what that meant for him and looked like the perfect opportunity to kick on, but just didn't think he did anything at all really on Wednesday. He kind of just chased it about and worked hard as he always will, but no, it was a big chance missed for him. Salah, Mane, and Jota, I think.
Yeah, Diogo Jota on the bench midweek, but he is back from what Klopp described as a fairly big knock against Arsenal. So would imagine he would start. Doherty, is that the same three for you?
I thought Minamino did okay actually, considering he ended up playing on the right wing, didn't he, by the end? So I think he did right. I think it's his best game he's had when he's been playing down the middle, and I think that's something Liverpool are going to have to look to if they've got preparing for what might happen in January, for example. So it was something that had to be done. I think it's going to be those three. But again, I think when it comes to the derby next week, I think Klopp will just do something crazy as he always does. But we can come to that. But yes, those three for this one.
Yes, we will come to that. But I am going to predict that Divock Origi plays in that one at some stage.
That's exactly what's going to happen.
That's what I was
and you
thinking.
wouldn't bet against him scoring either. Theo, for this one, no Origi in this one, saving him for the derby?
He don't think he's actually scored at Goodison before, but yeah, let Sonnery shirt Divock against Everton. And it can be Mane, Salah, Jota for this one. I don't think Minamino did too bad. You'd like to see him get a goal to his name. It was an opportunity for him, but he's playing a lot of different positions when he's coming on for Liverpool. At least he's making an impact. He had a few runs down the wing where he was winning corners or getting crosses in. It'll be needed in January, and it's just about getting him and Origi minutes as they go along ahead for January. But this isn't going to be one of them. You've got Salah fit, you've got Mane fit, you've got Jota fit. Start the three of them and get the job done.
Yep. Yes, indeed. Get the job done, then make a few changes ahead of Wednesday. That will be the idea for Liverpool. I'm going to predict a 3-0 victory, so I think it might just about happen as well. Gorsty, how do you reckon it might play out?
Yeah, I think it might be a fairly comfortable afternoon. 3-1.
3-1. Doyley, are you equally as positive?
You just said then that you predict a 3-0 victory and you think it might just about happen. It's like, well, surely all of your predictions you think happen, because why would you be predicting them then?
No, what I meant might happen was what I said before that was that they'd go a couple of goals up and be able to make changes.
All right. Okay. Fair enough. Yeah, you just dug yourself out of that one. I think 2-0. 2-0, but it will be tougher than people are thinking.
2-0. Theo, are you also going for a 2-goal victory?
Well, I was thinking 3-0 and then you said it, and I was thinking 3-1 and Gorsty said it, and I was thinking 2-0 and Doyley said it. So, for the sake of variety, should I just bring 7-1 back? That's been done against Southampton before, hasn't it?
What about the famous Christian Walsh 8-0 against Sunderland shout from many years ago? Which, a famous prediction there. That, funny enough, that wasn't correct.
I will stick with a 3-0.
Oh, I thought you were going to go for a 7-1 there. Never mind. Well, on that note, we will finish the podcast. Thank you very much to Paul, to Ian, and to Theo for joining me. We'll have all of the coverage across the Echo, Liverpool.com, and Blood Red over the next couple of days. We'll be back on Monday, as we said, as well, to preview the Merseyside derby. And until then, it's goodbye for now.